G'day punters, welcome to Victims of the Punt, the Randwick review from the weekend, 4th of September, Concorde Stakes, Furious Stakes, Tramway and Chelmsford. I'm here joined by Mark Shean, Mark Rhoden and Rob Scurry to discuss everything Sydney racing. Mark Shean, I'll start with yourself. The meeting overall, how did you see it?
Look, it was a good meeting. We saw two champions, I suppose, Nature Strip and Zaaki. I thought the track was a little bit disappointing. I read in the paper yesterday, not one trainer is happy that they're going to Kembla for the Run to the Rose meeting. Track management have done a great job, have the track in pristine condition. Well, we had a dead five. It hadn't rained for probably 12 days. I thought the fence was probably gone by race 6. So if that's pristine condition on our best track in Sydney, when it hadn't even rained before that stage, and then the rain set in for, 20, 30 minutes, and the track was a quicksand on the fence. Like, seriously.
Yep. That's state-run media. That's China.
Exactly.
I think
honestly, how the track was a dead 5 to start with, as I said in the previous show, like Kenzo was a dead 4 on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And here we are 3 days later, not a cloud in the sky. It's been windy, August winds. Sun shining, and the track never improved from Thursday to Friday to Saturday. There's something radically wrong at that joint.
We saw a video last week with someone from the state-run media, I think, suggesting Randwick was one of the best tracks in the country. I mean, well, it's certainly the best track in Sydney at the moment because it's the only one they're using. But if you think, look, even when they're operational, if you think any of the Sydney tracks are anywhere near, say, Flemington or even Caulfield, you're kidding yourself. The Melbourne tracks are light years ahead of the Sydney track.
Yep.
100%. I think Newcastle's probably the best track in New South Wales. They should be running more races there. But I think it's held together by sticky tape, and it's because of the overwatering, and they want it. They want these good fours for the horses, which is to appease the breeders. This should be a show cause a bit for people running the racing in this state. I think because the Betfair figures as well. The commissions are starting to sting, and Melbourne is just going way ahead of Sydney.
All the best to Chris Nation, who's just moved across to take charge of Newcastle, so he might do he'll do a good job no matter what, but he just might be a little bit more hamstrung than what he was used to in WA. Anyway, we'll get into the races. We'll review the same races that we previewed there on Friday. We'll start with the Concorde Stakes, won by Nature Strip. Slow tempo race, 3 lengths slow to the 600, but he's just reeled off some enormous splits late going through the line, and that is a very, very big overall figure on Punting Form's data, minus 17.2. He has done better than that previously, but that's a very ominous figure first up. Mark Shean, how'd you see it?
Well, look, I think everything was frightened to take him on there first up. He went up on the inside and they handed up to him, and I think the race was over after 50 metres. He didn't get the pressure he got like last preparation when he was taking on G2 and Eduardo. He was just gifted the lead here, and this turned into a barrier trial, and he just won with his ears pricked.
Yep. Rob, Nature Strip is one of the Waller horses that you've probably got one of the best lines on. What's the trick to him as a horse?
He's big. He's got a great stride, and since Chris has had him, he's turned him into a typical Waller parader. He's relaxed. But yeah, I was listening to Lizzie's here saying it's the best he's looked first up. He was a bit dull last time in first up, but look. But he had so much on this. I was tempted to just throw the kitchen sink at this. I just thought it was an absolute certainty. He's a genuine world-class horse, maybe the best sprinter in the world, and I can't see anything beating him this time in.
He certainly hasn't dropped off, Mark Rhoden, and that I've just quickly gone through his numbers. That is his best figure first up in his career.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think he's rated actually better than anything he did last prep. Even the TJ. What was it? Yeah, the TJ, sorry. And second, third and fourth have gone really well, in my opinion. I mean, just to the eye, you think, well, Wild Rule had to sit on him and couldn't running down, but he's flown, I reckon, Wild Rule. I reckon he's gone enormous. Trekking's gone enormous, considering it was 1,000 metres, and Old Handle the Truth poking up on the fence in the wrong spot's gone enormous, for what they are. He's turning into a model of consistency. You know, the once moody and temperamental nature strip. His only defeat in his last 4 starts was by a millimetre to Eduardo, who absolutely went through the roof that day. He's bomb-proof at the moment. If he keeps putting in these sort of performances, he won't get beaten in anything.
Yep. Okay. Let's have a look at race 6, which was the Furious Stakes over 1,200 metres. Even tempo here, 3.7 lengths fast to the 600. On the class, they went 1.4 lengths fast to the 600. And Jamaea has knocked off Robodira and Mallory. Rob Scurry, did you have anything on the 3-year-old fillies? Because that is your ballpark.
Well, I'm not getting to see him, but no, I'm never going to get Jamaea. She's a little pony of a thing, and she's just not my kind of horse. I probably should have had the sound down, because I found out that this plunge horse, D'Andretti, was a fool to Libertini, and I just remember Libertini being a bit of a sweater, and this thing paraded really well, so I kind of got half sucked in there, and I chased a bit of Najmati money, and Swift, not Swift Witness, the Waller horse that was well back. So it was a losing race for me. They seem to be taking in turns. We've established that they're nowhere near as good as the Colts, and they'll come up where they come up, and I guess whoever gets the right run on the day will win next time.
Yep. Mark Shean, you mentioned D'Andretti on the previous show, and geez, the market certainly was on side with you there.
Yeah, well, no, I was on earlier in the week at better odds.
Yeah.
I wish I'd crushed back. It was not into 420. I didn't imagine it would start that short, but it should have started 100 to 1 the way it went. Because I thought it was a lot better than that. Didn't give a yelp at any stage. I don't know whether the shifting track was some excuse, but crikey, it wouldn't have won at Wellington the way it went. So, look, it was a head scratcher for me. I thought that Silver Shadow form might have been very suspect. I agree with Rob. Jamaea's a 14-2 Shetland pony and carries no condition, so very hard for yard watchers to get totally enthused, but it's hard to knock her win. She's come from second last and last on the turn and run them down. So whether she found the fast lane there by that stage of the day remains to be seen. I think Mallory was great again. She was wide. She probably got to a very good price there, about $7 or $18. So I backed Najmati and D'Andretti earlier in the week, so I did my money. So I was totally wrong. Maybe Najmati can't run 1,200. She might be better fresh 11. I think Mark was a little bit worried about that format of that Melbourne race, and I think she just hasn't quite run the trip there. But I think they're just going to take turns, as Rob said.
Yeah, Mark Rhoden, what do you do with this race, given that Mallory was the shortest of the first 4 in the market and it was $18? The favourites here have just completely underperformed.
Yeah, a bit of a mess. I mean, I've done my money on the race as well. I think we've all managed to lose on the race 3 different ways, pretty much. I was with She's All Class. I thought she might have come back better. Donald's book, I thought that showed that they had high expectations. She was as disappointing as anything else in the race.
The market looked a bit pooey for her, didn't it, Mark? She was waiting on Betfair.
Someone told me that the camp were very confident. They expected a good run. There was money that they were backing it, so I was told. But, how much faith you can put in that, I don't know. But she was as disappointing as anything else in the race. Anything else that failed, she was awful. I had something on Mallory, unfortunately, threw wide all the way. Really, really good run again. Robodira's come back well. She showed glimpses in her first trip. $71 is probably too big after the race, but I tend to agree that they'll take turns. There's no standout in this lot. Are people going to forgive 4 moves ahead because it went to the fence?
Yes, good run.
It was a good run. I mean, it might get away with one of these, but it's not going to. I doubt it's going to be braining a field by 3 lengths or anything. But it might pick up the race.
It showed better racing manners. He pulled it back to last, and it seemed to settle, and then it went up the inside. So I think there was some merit there.
Because it drew the outside gate, but the way the track was starting to play by now, he shouldn't have. Really, in retrospect. Yeah.
I thought Enterprise Pom, which had trialled okay, ran a good race, but she won't settle, so she might be better off if you can find shorter races for around 1,000 or 1,100. But I thought she showed a bit of cheek there as she had done in her races in Brisbane.
Okay, let's have a look at the Tramway, which was race 7 over the 1400 metres, the Group 2. In terms of the speed, they've gone even, basically bang on, dead even to the 600. Zaaki's obviously been the winner by 1.5 lengths, but I must say it hasn't broken the class benchmark there on Punting Form's data. So I'll be interested to get your individual thoughts on the race itself. Rob, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I had one of my rare sort of bets on a shorty. Just seeing it parade, I really, I only got 20 seconds, but what I saw was everything I wanted to see. The horse was sort of like a coiled spring, really kind of borderline toey, but he was just prancing. He was proud. He's a proud horse, and he knows he's a good horse. And when I saw the money coming for Dreamforce, who I think should be retired. Not that I know everything, but I just think the horse has got no zest for racing anymore. It didn't show its customary speed, and so I just that made it a bet. There's not much else here. I thought I had a small saver on Star of the Seas, as I see him as he's consistent at this level, and I thought 1400 might, is okay for him, and the rest, like we're talking about Rock and All Saints Eve, these are welter horses really, and Zaaki just got a beautiful run, and it should have won like it did. If it's if Makybe Devi can win first up over 1400, so can this thing.
Yep. Mark Shean, Zaaki obviously a pass mark there, but probably not going to get a price going forward. Are you positive on the horse off what it did first up?
Oh, for sure. Like he just landed in a beautiful spot there. He settled. He dragged him back to 5th, and I think he was going to win the race a long way from home, the way he was travelling. Just give him a click up and then put the brakes on again for the last 150 metres. So, look, I know he's 280 for the Cox Plate, but how deep is the market going forward with these good horses? We got Very Elegant was beaten by Mwanga. Where else do you look for the top liners in Australia? It's pretty thin on the ground, isn't it? So he's got to be in the mix.
Mark Rhoden?
I was very, it was hard not to be impressed with him. I wouldn't get too carried away about the apparent lack of, smashing the clock here, because I think the track was starting to deteriorate for a start. As Mark said, he buttoned off at about 150, really. Once he put a couple of lengths on, put the cue in the rack. Cox Plate-wise, he has to be favourite. It could be a year. I see Anamoe's in the market. I don't know if they want to go that way with their 3-year-olds these days. A 2,000 metre win isn't necessarily any good here going forward, but looking for a dangerous to Zaaki in the Cox Plate, you're Very Elegant, then what? Yeah.
There's an unraced. There's a one. It's well in the market. Gold. What's it? It's into $11. It hasn't run here. Yeah, it's Kieran Ma. It's got a bit of Sir Dragonet stink about it.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if Zaaki has an off day, it's there to be won.
Yeah. I heard James Cummings on Perth radio over the weekend, and he suggested that Anamoe, Ingratiating and Paleli might be looking towards the Everest as a priority as opposed to anything else. So he was talking about Trekking obviously being the clubhouse leader, but he had the 3 colts that were all there with a bit of potential. If they showed the right signs, they might be heading to the Everest as opposed to some of the other traditional races they might end up in. So welcome to 2021, I guess.
You'd think Caulfield Guineas would be the ultimate aim for Anamoe. Yeah. That's surprising for him to say that, but I suppose a long way to go yet. Lead-up races. Does he go Golden Rose, or when's he going to run? Is he running Saturday?
He is. I just checked, and my Cox Plate money on him, that sounds like it's out the window. I just thought he'd been a street boss, well-bred horse. I thought he'd be a chance like, Zava Bill did it, and some good 3-year-olds have done it. He gets 49 kilos. I thought with nothing else around, it makes sense, but how would you know with that stable? They ran, Hart and all in a Cox Plate when it could have the Caulfield Cup on a platter. So,
talking through the kick there of previous years, Rob Scurry. I like it. All right, let's have a look at the Chelmsford. It was the Wait for Age mile race, and Think It Over has run over Riadini in the final strides. Montefilia was 3rd, Cascadian 4th. Rob, how do you see these Wait for Age gallopers?
Yeah, look, I thought there's only really one weight for age galloper in the race, and that was the winner. And it's been a very good horse to me. Think it over, winning the rider last year. With the softness coming, with a bit of rain coming, that turned it into a bet. The market certainly didn't miss it. Took all of the straight to get there. But it's the only weight for age horse here. The rest, Cascadian, you'll probably keep improving into the prep. But yeah, average lot.
Okay. Mark Shean, did you have any thoughts here?
Well, I think Nash has certainly lifted this winner. Look, he did get jammed up in that Wink Stakes and lost a lot of momentum coming to the turn the other day. And Saturday he was, in the sort of 1-1 and got rolling, which I think's made a big difference for him. And Nash really lifted him late. Riadini, great ride in front from Rachel King, nearly stole it. Cascadia I thought was disappointing. I thought with a bit of cut out of the track and where he got to in the run, he was entitled to do a little bit better. Jason Collett obviously wasn't watching the replays of the earlier races on She's Ideal. He went straight back to the fence, so I think that's a forgive run for her. Montefiore Jamaea looked a little bit stronger, but if she's being set for the Cups, I've got a bit of a head scratch there. She's had about 5 goes past 2,000 metres and has failed every time. Admittedly, at the top level of 3-year-olds, but that's a bit of a head scratcher. And I thought Attorney wasn't a bad run. Looked pretty fat to me and made up a bit of ground late. But back to a handicap in a couple of runs' time, and he might be a horse to watch out for.
Mark Rhoden, are you reading much into this race? Slow tempo race, 3 lengths slow to the 600?
No, not especially. It's sort of a second level. I would think it over's gone well. Soft track and the way the track was playing suited him. And he's just pretty much gone to his best on my figures, so, which was good enough to do the job here. That's, I don't know, I suppose the weight for age ranks are so thin, he'll be in contention in these sort of races. I suppose something like the Craven Plate, if they want to take that for 2,000 because it's worth so much money now, will be on the agenda. But yeah, a pretty uninspiring race, to be honest. Not much for me to say about the horses out of the placing, except maybe She's Ideal in the wrong spot. Nancho, the import, hit its head and was allowed to start. But yeah, Cascadian was plain.
Yeah, were we a bit stiff with Montefiore first up last time? She was about $7, $8 that day, and well backed, and she's we're expecting something like this, and here she is running a good race first up.
It was a bit short. It was a touch shorter, wasn't it?
It's 1,400.
1,400, yeah. What is their sweet spot? 1,400 is too short, but she can't get 2,100.
Well, but as I said, I think they're aiming for the Caulfield Cup or something like that. So, they have to see how she trades on. To my eyes, she did look a lot stronger in previous preparation. So,
maybe.
Okay. Race 9 on the card was benchmark 78 over 1,200 metres. Very slow tempo here, 5 lengths slow to the 600. So very slow indeed. And look, Geist has reeled off some really nice splits late to get over the top of King of Sparta, who was reasonably strong in betting, I think it's fair to say. Rob, how did you see race 9?
I risked King of Sparta. I had a good result on him at Kembla, but I just thought that the wide track, and I was lucky. I chopped out on Geist, and for some reason I've seen Bossy on this thing, suck one, and send him out as the major play, which was that was a head scratcher. Thinking, Bossy will be dirty. After thinking over, he'll want to win, and I just looked really forward to me this Paul Perry runner. So that was my bet with a saver on Geist and. Something else. The thing that Mark liked earlier in the week as well. I had a saver on that. But look, Geist she'll probably keep improving. She's kind of a gross type. She had a few runs last time, and yeah, she's maybe worth following. Good run. The runner up, very good run. The rest, I'm not sure.
Yep, Mark Shean. The market followed you here again with Cuban Royale.
Yeah, he might have got in too close to the inside there in the straight, so I'm going to forgive him that run. I think he had to be a lot wider by that stage of the day. I think the wet track certainly played into Geist's hands. I think her best run was in a stakes race last time in, where she came from last, ran third to Matchmaker, and I think it's a very good ride from Hugh Bowman, got into a great spot, and as Rob said, she's a big gross mare, and that run under the belt the other day, she just stripped a little bit fitter, so I think played into her hands there. King of Sparta just got left wide without a lot of cover, and a bit of cut out of the track probably has not helped him, and for those on him at the $5, I don't know if Mark was on it to follow. Started a lot shorter than that, but unfortunately he's gone down.
Yeah, Mark Rhoden, you were talking about this horse, and I think, was it the 3 starters of that race that he won at last start? All 3 starters had won, so obviously the market was really coming for that form line.
Yeah. Might have been 4, actually, Pete, I think.
Yeah. To answer Mark's question, I actually missed getting on it. I was sitting there looking at $5, and I thought because of the map, I didn't think it was going to hemorrhage like it did. So then next time I looked, it was 380, and then it was just one-way traffic. So I've dodged a bullet there. In a sense, he certainly wouldn't have lost any admirers after that run. 5 and 6 wide the trip and trail to the winner. I think he's pretty smart and will be winning more races. Not a great deal more to add. There's one here. There's a horse who's actually going really well, I reckon. It's been run totally out of its grade twice. It's run 9th and 12th in 2 runs as prep, so it doesn't jump off the page. It's called Golly I'm Lucky. Ran 9th and closed off really well behind Destination first up a few weeks back, and ran into a lot of trouble in the straight here. Never really got a clear run at them and sort of went to the line under its own steam. But they've just got to drop it back to the midweights. I think that's the key. I think running in these 78s, it's not good enough to win them. So back in its own class might be one to look out for.
Okay, horse to follow there for Mark Rhoden. They're possibly at odds next start. Race 10, benchmark 94 over 1,500 metres. Look, in terms of the speed, bang on even once again, 0.2 lengths slow, 2 to 600. Soldier of Love, any old price, has knocked off It's Lily and Big Boy Roy, all 3, again, at a reasonably decent price. The favourite of Tissue ran 4th. Rob, did you find anything in the last?
Yeah, look, I've got to own up. I've backed the all-time legend again, just because, I don't know, I just thought the softest track to head up. But yeah, on reflection, that was a bad bet. Only a small play and a little bit on Cisco Bay as well, who I thought would be suited by the soft track. What to make of these? This Soldier of Love, this is the second time in 2 preps he's won at a big price, and he's a really nice type of horse too. So with the SP, he might be worth following. He seems to have a pretty good racing pattern too. He runs in the first few in the run and keeps trying. A Tissue was everyone's crying about a Tissue. Got a long way back, and it's run home very well, and I'm sure it'll be short again. Entente might be worth following out of this race.
That's good from you, Scurry. I like that. Mark Shean, any thoughts here? What do you make of this race?
Well, I didn't have a Tissue. I'd have the hanky out for a Tissue. I think it was a length and a half behind Soldier of Love last time they clashed, and was eased behind it, and it was 22 lengths behind it there on Saturday. So, oh, geez, it was a horror watch, wasn't it? And then seemed to get its head up and very resentful on a couple of occasions in the straight. And how it's only been beaten by, what was the margin, about a length or something, even less maybe. I don't know. Only horse to follow out of the race for mine. Skylab had a pretty, just had a nice look around there, Skylab.
Okay. And Mark Rhoden, did you have any thoughts there in the last race?
Yeah, my thought is I'm glad I didn't back a Tissue. Apparently, getting his setup, he was resenting the kickback, they said in the steward's report a bit. So, yeah.
That's that pristine Randwick track, mate.
That's right. Pots flying everywhere.
Yeah. 2.5 mils it cops. Oh, sure. What's going to happen when it cops 10? They're going to call them off.
And it's actually great run and be even better over further, I think. But as Rob pointed out, I don't think they're going to miss it, are they? I had my speculative bet on Charm Star, who was 100 to 1 by this stage out of Barrier 1, unfortunately. I'll give her another chance, I think. Can't read anything in that run at all. All-time legend was in the same boat. You back Barriers 1 and 2 here, Rob, in race 10 when the fence was off.
I think I was a bit punch drunk. But this sort of half Q in the rack, I think. It had a winning day. I'm just cheering Melbourne boys. It was a great day. the mailbag anyway.
Yep. So yeah, that's about it from me on the last, and well, it was a pretty forgettable meeting for me overall. So keen to put it behind me and move on.
Well, the last thing you have to do, Mark, horses to follow. Mark Shean, I'll get one or two from yourself to start with.
Yeah, well, I thought one horse there in race, where was it? Bullfinch. Can't even think what race it was in now.
This is in the last, wasn't it?
Second last?
In the last, yeah. Second last, maybe. Second last, I'm sorry. Yeah, this horse was going a bit keen last time in. Was dragged back to second last and made up good ground late, but it's a couple of trials have looked like it had relaxed a little bit better this time in, so it might have a race up its sleeve. I thought Mallory was quite good in the fillies race, if you can trust that form. And one from the midweek stray looked very unlucky behind the boom horse Profondo the other day. So they're from a couple of horses from this week.
Okay, Mark Rhoden, yourself?
For me, Shake out of race 2, just took no part in the race. Yeah, apparently that's going to be her. That apparently the stable's decided that she needs cover and she's only got a short sprint, so maybe they're going to ride her like that every start of her life, which will be a recipe for heartbreak. But it was an outstanding run, I thought. That other one I mentioned, Golly Unlucky in race 9, but only back to midweeks.
Okay, and Rob Scurry for yourself.
I think Geist can keep running well on certainly on these shifty tracks. She'll go well. She's a big gross horse. And you know, obviously the 2 weight for age horses are going to be hard to beat in Zaaki and Nature Strip.
Okay.
Not much. There's not much there.
Peter, just before we go, I've been messaged and asked to ask you about a dream you had about Jamie Carr last night. Does that sound right?
Doesn't sound right at all. Probably was.
Was that Ron again?
It must have been Ron.
On the unknown number, I think it must be Ron.
Ron's got a pathway into the mailbag HQ, I believe. Week ahead.
I remember on TVN we used to have a bloke who apparently used to write in called Tobias all the time, but I don't know where he came from.
Oh, very good. All right, the week ahead, we've got, 6 races at Gosford by the looks of things on Wednesday, Hawkesbury Thursday, Saturday, Goulburn and Rosehill at Kembla Grange, which includes the 3 Group 2s, the Theo Marks, the Runs to the Rose and the Shirako. Mark Shean, you mentioned it before, there was a little bit of murmuring around having the Saturday meeting there at Kembla, but hopefully the track should play reasonably well.
Well, I think it played better 2 weeks ago than it did at Randwick on Saturday, so hopefully we've got dry weather and we're going to get a good even surface on Saturday. Should be great fields down there for the meeting on Saturday.
Yes, indeed. Looks like business as usual for yourself, Mark Rhoden, this week ahead, but Gosford might be a little bit light on there on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's the Metro meeting. I've had to shift it, and despite there only been 6 races, it'd be good to have a Wednesday away from Kensington. I've got a bit of PTSD with that at the moment, to be honest.
Not surprised. And Rob, I'll go for it, Rob.
I was just going to say, remember when I said they shouldn't have run that Kensington meeting before with the 70 mils?
Yeah.
And then what's happened after that? It's gone. They've got to take a bigger view with the tracks being out of play and not worry about the getting that little bit of Wednesday money, because they've only got one track. It's ridiculous.
It's a terrible situation, but I do agree with you. I should have phoned in a bomb threat or something last Wednesday rather than
Go on and watch this, mate. Be careful.
Live and learn.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. To the Marks, we'll catch up on Friday, preview this meeting at Kembla Grange. But until then, go well.